Reviewing today is... Oh, that's upside down. Hi everybody, my name is Natanda. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I make videos on construction, lifestyle and travel. On today's video, we're gonna have a book review. And before I go any further, I have moved out of my old place and I moved to a new place. This is my bedroom and I read a lot in here, so I thought, okay, why not do the review in here? So the book that we're reviewing today is Pain is Inevitable, Misery is Optional, Live the Life You Love and Love the Life That You Live. The book is broken down into 11 chapters, and each chapter's got a theme or a statement in which there's sub-statements that help you achieve that certain goal. So for example, let's see, how to deal with difficult people. And then it's gonna have points within this chapter that help you on how to deal with difficult people. So yeah, that's how it's structured. It's got a biblical approach to all of these points. And the title, Pain is Inevitable, Misery is Optional, is very self-explanatory. So it just means that you can't avoid pain. Traumas, pain, disasters are gonna happen. You decide how you react to them. You decide how this pain is gonna affect you. Are you gonna be miserable? Are you gonna try and make something out of it? So yeah, that's what the title's all about, and that's the theme of the whole book. That's what the book is technically. I'm just gonna talk about the chapter that stood out to me and what I really took from it and what I liked about it, and that was chapter 2, How to Enjoy Life No Matter What. So a lot of the points in here resonated with me. Okay, so the first point, don't fight the circumstances, flow with them. That is self-explanatory. All I can control in this situation is just flowing with it. I can't change the circumstance. The second point is to be productive. So ever since we had our lockdown in South Africa, the first week everybody was on this productive train. Like everyone was just like, oh, you need to make the most of this time. You need to use this time to do the things that you said you would do but you never had the time for. Read, write a book, exercise, do all those things that you've been putting off, and go. And I feel like everybody probably started the first week with that energy, and then when week 2 came in, people had burned out. So now the theme was just that, just rest. Like rest, don't force yourself to come out of this a transformed person. I also kind of felt it. I was just like so pumped, and before I knew it I was just like, things are not going as planned, I'm not doing it as fast enough. But I still believe in being a productive person. I like using most of the day. I don't like having the days just pass by. So this book then encourages you to be a productive person. And they say here, the secret of being miserable is to have the leisure to think about whether or not you are happy. And that is by George Bernard Shaw. And the second quote is, iron rusts from disuse, stagnant water loses its purity, and in cold weather becomes frozen. Even so does inaction sap the vigor of the mind. So keep busy and you'll stay useful pretty much. And then the author also chips in and says that one of the best ways to keep ourselves from settling into misery is to live a fruitful and productive life. To be accomplishing a goal or pursuing a dream is the best way to stay spiritually and mentally fit. The exercise prevents us from sitting around and sinking into despair. And when we are not productive, we tend to brood over our troubles and return to a painful experience, which is true. I mean, it's true even if it's not in a pandemic. People talk about it just before they go to bed. They usually sit there and they're like thinking about things that they haven't achieved or things that happened in the past that give them pain. And that's what happens when there's idleness. And this is why I'm such a big fan of productivity, and I have a timetable and I plan out my day to do things. It also makes me feel really, really good. And yeah, and then there's also a part here that encourages our friends not to allow us to sink into a dark place of like self-pity or misery or stress and pain. And it says that at times we need our friends to encourage and motivate us in the right direction instead of allowing us to indulge in our pain. There is huge merit in staying productive in times of pain and loss, which is so true. Today's world allows us the luxury of sitting at home on sick leave and taking numerous pills to heal our troubled minds, when what we need to do is to stay productive in the face of pain and misery. I have seen productive lives recover far quicker than those who opt to sit in a corner and wait out their pain. And I can super attest to this. I mean, last year when I got sick and I was on like sick leave for like 10 days, for the first few days it was great. Like I slept and I was feeling crappy, I was down. And then after a while I started feeling like I'm taking all this time to think about what I'm going through, which is really not helping. I'd rather be busy. I think I even like cut my leave short and went back to work, and I felt like that was very helpful to me. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do in these tough times, staying productive. This is my favorite part of it, and it also validated what keeps me going. And yeah, I'm grateful for that one. The third point that I liked about this book was develop a thankful spirit. And this is one that I've been practicing for years right now. And I read somewhere that what you focus on grows. And I don't think, because people are always like, oh, when you focus on the positive things, you attract positive things. I just feel like when you focus on positive things, you shine the light on them and they occupy more of your mind than the negative things, and that's how it feels like they're growing. But that's like a good space for your mind to be at. So I liked that, developing a thankful spirit. Thankfulness helps us overcome negative focus. It makes for a heart that lives in obedience and not according to emotion. You can learn to give thanks even if you don't particularly feel thankful. Thankfulness, like forgiveness, is not an emotion. So every day you can try to focus on the good things that are happening in your life. The bed that you slept in, like the basics of life. The fact that you can walk, you have eyes, you have ears. Things like that. Yeah, so that one is very self-explanatory. I liked it, and it's one thing that I always try to practice as well. Point number 4 then talks about being others-centered. And it mentions that when you help someone that's below you, you don't have time to think about someone that's above you. You don't have time to envy them. So it's the man who keeps busy helping the man below him won't have time to envy the man above him, which I find so profound. I mean, yes. So right number 6, which I actually also really liked, was that realize that joy is not found in ideal circumstances, but in eternal purpose. Then he goes on to explain, or have a quote by Viktor E. Frankl, which says, man can endure almost any suffering if he can see a purpose or meaning in it. Conversely, he will be miserable even amidst great luxury if he cannot relate his life to some larger context which makes it meaningful. So in whatever you're going through, try to find meaning in it, and life will be less miserable. And then the last point that stood out to me was cultivate a positive expectation of victory. With what we're going through right now, it's easy for us to look at the situation in a very bad light, or the bad outcome that's going to come from it. Look at the collapsed economy, people losing their jobs, deaths, but that does not really help us, does it? What we can try to look at is how victorious we're going to come through this. We're having this lockdown so that we don't have to suffer deaths and too many people being infected with the virus. And also, we might go through a recession, but there's also going to be a pickup where there's going to be needs for the companies that fell behind. They're going to need more labor, and this might pick up the economy. So look at it to cultivate a positive expectation of victory. So that has been my review of Pain is Inevitable. Pain is inevitable and misery is optional, and I really liked it, and I'm so glad that I swapped it out with the Nice Girls Don't Get Up Corner Office, because I feel like if I had forced myself to read it through then, it was not going to be as impactful as it is now. This feels like great timing for me, and I feel comforted by it, and it's helping me cope with this pain that is happening in the whole world. So I do recommend it. I really enjoyed it, and it's especially great if you're a Christian, because it comes with the Christian perspective of things. So it's kind of like the subtle art of not giving up, but with the Christian perspective of things. So thank you for watching this video. See you later in another video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.